Hello, Nicola. How are you?
Hi. Hey, Kathleen. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
And to you, and to you. I love your lovely green blouse.
Yes, I try, Kathleen.
Yeah.
I couldn't find my St. Patrick's Day earrings this morning, but I
Oh,
try.
I think you're far better in Canada and the States in celebrating St. Patrick's Day. It seems to be a much more fun thing.
Yeah, it is fun. Green beers, different stuff.
Yeah,
I made a lovely Irish stew last night, Kathleen,
very nice.
and
Very
I haven't
nice.
made one of those for a long while. And I say, with the snow here and the cold weather, it was absolutely delicious.
Good, good, good. And did you make it in a kind of very traditional way? Or
Well,
any
I made it with beef instead of lamb. People don't like lamb here so much. I love lamb,
yeah,
but I had some beef. It was truly delicious.
yeah, good.
Didn't have soda bread with it, mind.
Yeah. If I could send some over to you, I would.
Are you a good
I,
soda bread maker,
I
Kathleen?
am. Well, I can think of my mother. It's actually one of the simplest things to make. Do you
Mhm.
know, I don't do it very often, but there's no yeast in it. It's just baking soda, not
Baking? Do you
baking
use?
powder. No, no,
Okay, no baking powder. Do you use buttermilk?
buttermilk. Yes.
Yeah, lovely. It's
Really
this
simple. Really
just
simple.
coming out of the oven. That is so beautiful,
Smell.
huh?
I know, I know, I
Do you
know.
like it with some butter and jam?
Of course I do. Of course I do. Irish butter. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the Irish butter is good, huh? So creamy.
Well, remember a this morning we had a bit of a chat before we started
Mm.
about connecting St. Patrick's Day and
Mhm.
leadership.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest be good to start with?
Well, I think you're right. Like St. Patrick was a great leader, wasn't he, Kathleen?
Mm,
And it's helpful to think as if we think of, our podcast and our and leadership and our
mm,
listeners. Let's talk about, we come up with four traits of
mm.
leadership that we can think about from Ireland.
Yeah,
Um, do you
yeah,
want to start in the first one, Kathleen?
sure, sure. Storytelling,
Ah,
which is such a an important part of Irish culture. I
yeah.
was saying to you earlier about my dad would was a great storyteller, and he'd come
Mm.
up with, if he was stuck with a description, he'd create one. But do you remember in
Mm.
country Ireland, the tradition of people going
Mhm.
from house to
Yeah,
house? Did you have
yeah.
that in your family?
Yeah, that's a good reminder, Kathleen. Is something we forgot, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember my uncle coming to my house and he'd tell these stories. And as a little girl, I was just horrified. Like, he'd be talking about these horses and men with horses and no heads. And like, I wasn't sure whether he was telling the truth or he was making up
Yeah,
stories. But
yeah,
I was just sitting there as a little kid. And that's the thing about stories. We get into it, don't we?
that's right.
We remember
Right.
it and we
That's
remember
right.
things way quicker. Somehow it sticks with us, doesn't it?
Right. Which is why now, like, there are so many workshops for coaches,
Mm,
for leaders
yeah,
in regards to storytelling, because
you're
just
right.
like you said, we remember the story.
Yeah.
A story can be used to inspire people,
Mm-hmm.
to
Totally.
communicate the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
There's really a gift to be a good storyteller.
It is a gift. And yet, some people are natural at it, but it also can be learned.
Yeah.
Huh? And that's what you talk about the workshops, because as leaders, like you say, they need to inspire their people. They need to paint a picture of where we're going.
Right.
So, because people like to feel like they're part of something bigger,
Mm,
and the story resonates with people, huh? It brings them in. It
mm,
helps them remember,
mm. It's also
doesn't
a
it?
way too to communicate even our own stories.
For
What brought
sure.
us to, which might, maybe that's something we'll do in another podcast ourselves. You
Wow,
know,
look at you, Kathleen, full of ideas this morning.
but you
That's
know
a great idea.
how people came into that role.
Yeah,
That can be
lovely.
inspiring for people, particularly if it, as it is for everybody, there's always been difficulties.
Yeah,
Everybody, and getting over them is what brings
sure.
people with you too.
And absolutely, and everybody has their own story. I was just thinking of a couple of people that, were good storytellers. Bono was a great
Bono, for
storyteller
sure,
with his
for
songs,
sure.
wasn't he?
Yeah, and
I've
still
been to
going
see you
strong.
too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Steve Jobs here in the US.
yeah,
Great storyteller, huh? Brought the people along, had the vision.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Oscar Wilde, I was thinking of as
yeah,
well, who wrote delightful children's stories. And,
yeah.
again, he had difficulties for sure in his life and ended up um, on his own, but boy, did he leave a legacy.
Absolutely. And just that ability to, his storytelling ability was amazing. You mentioned that little, the sculpture
That's
in
right, in
Dublin.
Marion Square. Yeah, a
Mm.
beautiful little park in Georgian Dublin. And it's quite a large sculpture, but he's kind of sitting back, reclining, and long legs coming out, but he's holding a book. And just, I don't know,
Ah,
the sculptor was very talented because he or she really created uh, a sense of someone, that you'd like to sit down and have a chat with.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that he was reclining. I wonder what that meant. Is it?
Oh, I wonder too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wonder. There's another story.
that's
Let's move
right.
on to number two, though, humor
Okay.
and humility.
Mm.
And I was just saying, like, humor makes everything so light, and as a leader, it's so important. But I was saying, I've started going to comedy and that and watching comedy and TV because it just brings a lightness
Oh,
to
yeah,
our
it's a
life.
great stress tool. You do a way
Mm,
to, and we don't in normal life have enough of that deep belly
yeah,
laugh that you
yeah.
would have had that we have if we're watching a good comedian. Do you know?
Isn't that great? The
It
laugh
is.
out loud.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's
Who
so
do you think
many.
of who do you think of either in Ireland or US, Canada as humorous? I mean, is there anybody that comes to mind for you?
Do you know who comes to mind is Robin Williams.
Ah,
Sad
yes.
that he's not here with us because
Yes.
he died way before his time.
Hmm.
But what a hilarious person. I'd say,
Yeah.
if you just met him, and it's being um, kind of straight, like he just could put on so many different voices. That's something I enjoy, and there are some good. Oliver Callan is an Irish,
Mhm.
um, what's it called when somebody can put on the different voices?
Oh, I can't remember the name now, but I did bump into Robin Williams in London one time, so I
Did
can't
you?
say I met him.
Oh, but
I seen him
still,
in the distance going into a hotel.
gosh, gosh, that was something. That
But
was,
humility on the other side of humor, and we were talking about
mm,
humor, so many of us years ago talked about sarcastic humor, which is not inclusive
yeah,
and doesn't bring people together and forward. So,
yeah,
a type of humor that brings lightness
that's
but
right.
doesn't put people down.
Exactly, exactly.
Hmm.
And good leaders are aware of that. I
Yeah,
think the time is long past of using humor to kind of score points or make someone feel bad.
yeah, passive
Humility, and
aggressive.
there's the flip side to it as well. It's a quality that we need a lot more of, I think, in life.
Mm-hmm.
It's the opposite to the big me.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you think of the people that have achieved so much, um, and I should know my name, but I'm going to give the example even without remembering his name properly. But the man who started duty free shops back
Oh,
in
I'm not aware of
the
that.
70s, he seemingly he was a billionaire, but he traveled economy. He lived simply. He gave a huge amount of his money to the Irish Fund
Wow.
and to University of Limerick.
So
That's
just
real
humility.
humility. That's real humility. Do you
And,
know?
yeah, lovely example, Kathleen.
Are there
Let's move
anyone you
on.
can think of? Just can we think of one more person from
Well,
history?
I guess there's Liam Neeson, huh?
Yeah,
Who, again, despite his fame, his grounded personality, and Liam Neeson, a great actor, huh? Really, Schindler's List, a few of those things,
yeah,
from Northern Ireland.
yeah,
Let's look
that's
at
right.
relationship first leadership. Who comes to mind? Somebody that, because in leadership, it's so important, the relationship first, huh? Everything else follows. It's hard to give that feedback if, the person doesn't really trust you as a leader. So it's really about building up that trust and that relationship first, and then other things can flow from that.
That's right. Psychological safety really depends on there being a strong relationship, which doesn't
Yeah,
mean that we're great buddies with everybody.
yeah.
There's a relationship of trust. So if you're giving me feedback, that I know
Hmm.
it's because you want me to do better
Yes.
and you know how well I'm doing. So it's a real connection with trust for sure. Do you know who I
Yeah.
think of too is our Rory?
Rory. Yes.
Isn't it? He's a real, I'm sure. I wonder how many of our
Mhm.
listeners now will just immediately know who we're talking about.
Yeah. Great golfer, huh?
Absolutely. And
Um,
a real team person too.
a real team person, a real relationship, thinks about community, people, and that's so important. So many big people from Ireland, huh?
Yeah,
So many
true,
great
true.
people come out of Ireland for such a small country, huh?
That's right. That's right. And then our last one, I suppose, to keep moving with it, resilience through
Mm.
history.
Hmm.
Not a light topic here now because there's been a lot of hardship in Ireland, the famine with,
Hmm.
dare I say, the word oppression. Do you
Yeah,
know that it's not always been an easy time. We're economically now, Ireland has never been better, but our history was of poverty, I suppose.
for sure. And so, there's a few characters, whether they're political or not. Michael Collins
Mm,
is a great, is a great character in Ireland, and different viewpoints for sure.
yeah,
Just wanted to put that out there. Mary
right,
Robison, the great Irish
right.
president,
Yeah.
that really, brought in global human rights.
Mm.
Here in Canada, we have Terry Fox. I'm not sure if you know him.
The walks, isn't there a,
Terry Fox walks,
yeah,
he walked all over Canada
yeah,
for, he had cancer and lost one of his legs. And so every year, like even still, years later, my kids do, there's Terry Fox in the school every year. And so much adversity. But Serena Williams, great tennis player,
that's
huh?
right, that's
She
right.
was amazing. I mean, sure, she had her ups and downs, but she overcame great adversity.
Mm, mm. And actually, when you mention tennis, we have a woman who was, I think, one of the first women to play at Wimbledon, Lena Rice from Tipperary,
Wow.
and she won.
Wow.
This is going back to, I think, the 1930s, so you
Oh
wouldn't be,
my.
she wouldn't be known now. But yeah,
Yeah.
to have that sense of persistence and
Yeah.
strength to get past the obstacles. Do you know?
Yeah. To have that grit to keep going, persevering, like you say,
Yeah,
Kathleen, and getting over failure, bouncing up again, huh? After
right.
those setbacks,
That's
keeping
right.
going.
And was St. Patrick resilient, would you say?
I'd say he was pretty resilient, huh? I'm sure he had a lot of obstacles along the way, wouldn't you think, Kathleen?
I would think, yes, he was kidnapped and he was a slave for a period of time. I think there's a lot of speculation about his
Yeah,
life. And do you
yeah.
know St. Bridget lived at the same time.
That's hard to believe. We were talking about St. Bridget in our last
I
podcast, isn't it,
know, isn't
Kathleen?
that something? I wonder,
Mhm.
did they sit down and have a cup of tea together, or were they?
Maybe they did. Maybe they shared some stories.
So we're kind of getting near to our time here. Is there
Well, Kathleen, what would you like to leave the readers with today as they think about St. Patrick's Day and just taking a moment to celebrate
any,
Irish ancestry, or what would you say to people?
the I would encourage them, I suppose, to celebrate more than the green beer, maybe, as much fun as that is, that
Yes.
if you look a little bit under
Hmm.
the surface, you find these gems of resilience and storytelling and humor that are, you and I are big on resilience and
Hmm.
keeping ourselves strong. And they're all tools that can be
Hmm.
used
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. And I would say, as we talked about four things today: storytelling, humor and humility, relationship-based leadership, and resilience through adversity. Maybe think about which one is relevant to you right now, and which one maybe that you would like to focus on a little bit more as you have that green pint of beer.
Yeah, good, good. Well, have a very happy St. Patrick's Day, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you, Kathleen.